These are the things that are going on in there. It's like a tentacle, the octopus with arms. It's many, many arms, but you got to go after the head of the octopus in this one. Who is it? The central banks, the IMF, the ECB, the private West central banks, the BIZ, the Rothschild banks. We have a Rothschild Pope. And there are great Americans out there that are fighting right now, fighting with all their hearts, but they don't have a voice. So I'll be that voice. I saw what John the Baptist did. I think about him all the time in this situation. Would you lose your head for Christ? Would you? I would, because I love him. I love him. And I know who's Christ in this movie, Tim Ballard. Tim Ballard. And I know you out there that you're going to say, oh, Tim Ballard, Mormon, forget it. Listen to me. Do you not know the Gospels? Do you know the story about this? Let's pretend there was a Catholic who walks by and sees a guy that was beaten up. He does nothing. Walks past him. Say there was a Protestant, evangelical who walks by. He sees him, does nothing. And then a Mormon walks by, name's Tim Ballard, and he does something. The Bible is alive right now. We're all playing different characters. I got to play Jesus. But some of us are playing Judas. Many of us are politicians. You see, there's three parts in this story. You got the good and you got the evil. But most, they're on the fence. That's most. And the fight is over that middle third. Well, I'm going to take as many of these middle third with me as I can.
Shalom, 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 shalom. As always, first I want to give all the praises and the glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kodash. Yahweh is the Most High's name. Yahushai is the name of the Son, who the world ignorantly calls God and Jesus Christ. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone, our teachers, and our leaders in the spiritual warfare that we fight in these earthly bodies. All praises to the hopeful elect brothers who are laboring hard. As I always like to say, the laborers are few. The harvest is many, but the laborers are few. Shalom to you, truly righteous brother that are standing firm in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, preaching the 100% truth of the gospel, of the good news, of the prophecies of the scriptures. And to the hopeful elect brothers and sisters, Shalom. So, I got hold of this video a couple of days ago. I was meant to do something on it yesterday, but I didn't get around to it. But I wasn't going to let today pass by without me actually doing something on this, because when I saw this, and this is just from my own viewing, all right? When I saw this, many of you may not know who Jim Caviezel is. He's the man that played Yahushai in the film. What was it called? It was a film. Okay, it was called. Trying to fit the name of the film that he was playing in. It was what's the name of his movie that he played in? It was he played the Lord, the Passion of Christ, the Passion of Yahushai, I like to say, but the movie was called The Passion of Christ. All right, and I always remember Apostle Tahar saying that certain things happened during that movie while he was making it. Lightning strike, he had a vision or something. I don't remember it, but if Apostle Tahar sees this video, he can elaborate in the comment board, or he can, make a video based on this particular interview here with Jim Caviezel, and he can express exactly what it was that happened during the movie. But I always remember Apostle Tahar speaking about something that happened dramatic while he was making that movie, and I can't remember exactly what it was. Something to do with either lightning struck him and that. But I never forget that movie, The Passion of Yahushai. It's called The Passion of Christ, but as we know, the Lord's name is Yahushai. And that, and when I saw this speech here, that this interview here that he was doing, it came across to me that Jim Caviezel was speaking in the spirit. That's how it truly came across to me, that he was speaking in the spirit. Right? Couldn't put it any other way. But that's how it came across to me. I could feel it, what he was saying. Everything that he was saying. How the system, how the banks, the Rothschilds bank, the European Central Bank, how these people run the world. Literally, we saying they run the world. He was saying that we have a Rothschilds Pope. Basically, he's telling you that the Pope is the wicked because he is part of the New World Order, the Illuminati, and he's controlled by the Rothschilds. He's part of that dark side. He said there's a battle between good and evil, right? And he says we can see who those are clearly. But he said but there's a middle ground. There's a people that are middle ground that haven't decided what side they want to be on in this battle that's taking, this spiritual warfare that's taking place. And as I always say, it's like the scripture says, right? When the Bible speaks about you being lukewarm, I think it's Revelations, when it speaks about lukewarm, you being lukewarm, it's neither hot, neither cold. That's what came to me when he said that. When he was saying that, this is like a battle between good and evil, he was saying. And then he said, then there are those that are sitting on the fence, he said. I think it's Revelations 3:16. Yeah, Revelations 3:16. Right? But the Bible speaks about, let's see if I can just read it out to you. Right? About those being lukewarm. And that's what he kind of said that in the spirit. He said you got those that are good, those that are evil. So you got those that are hot, that are truly into this word, that have woken up. The spirit they've been able to receive the spirit and understand what truly is going on in these last days. Then those that are cold, that just don't give a damn. The scripture talks about that the waxing of many shall become cold in these end days. All these scriptures are coming to my mind, right? And then he said, those that are sitting on the fence, he said. So it just reminded me of that scripture when it says, I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would that thou were either cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. That's what came to my mind. Let me bring it up on the screen. I'm reading it out here. Let me bring it out on the screen. And the guy he was talking about, this Tim Ballard, I think his name is Tim Ballard. He's a guy that's fighting this, they call it the Operation Underground Railroad, where he's leading the fight against sex trafficking and exploitation of young children. I think his name is Tim. He said his name, Tim Ballard. That's who he was referring to. He was talking about this guy, Tim Ballard. Let me see if I can bring it up on the screen. 1 second, family. All right. But I'm telling you, when he was speaking there, to me, it was like he was speaking in the spirit. It's like the spirit just took hold of him. Because he said a lot. In that 2-3 minutes that he spoke, he said a lot. That's all I can say. This is the guy here. I think his name is Tim Ballard. It's called Operation Underground Railroad. It says, we exist to rescue children from sex trafficking and sexual exploitation. This is the guy that he was describing when he said if he saw a child on the road and a Catholic walked past and the next person walked past, they said and a Mormon walked past and that Mormon was Tim Ballard. He would help the kid because he used to work for the government, this guy here, Tim Ballard, and this is what he's doing. He's rescuing children from sex trafficking and sex exploitation. And all I can say, if what he's doing is true, what he's doing, then the Lord bless him. The Lord will bless him and be with him, because that's a serious thing that's going on amongst the elites. It's this sex trafficking and sexual exploitation of little children. This is a massive thing going amongst the elite, the left-hand side, just so you understand what's going on. It's a massive thing that's happening out there. So he said a lot. He speaks about the Rothschilds. He said the Rothschilds, he says these people that control the world. He said these people are sick. The Rothschilds, the banks, the ECB, the central bank. He said we have a Rothschilds Pope, which he's basically telling you that the Pope is fully signed up with the left-hand side. He's part of the Satanic Order, as we've already known all of this. Basically, remember the Catholic Church is responsible for so much pedophilia on a global scale. In France alone, they were accused of committing pedophile Sexual attacks, paedophilia against 250,000 children, 250,000 children in France alone from 1950 to 2020. 250,000, that's one country alone. That's the Catholic Church. And then what kind of hit me was when like I said, when he said, look, the Bible is alive right now. And he said, we're all playing different characters in it. When he said that, he just sounded just like what the apostles always telling you, that this is the Most High's movie. We're all playing different characters in this movie, and we, the brothers and the truth and the sisters, and especially the prophets, I myself, my fellow prophets out there, my elders, the apostles of Great Millstone, my fellow elders of Great Millstone GMS, and men like-minded prophets that are preaching on the highways and hedges, they're 100% truth. We all think the same thing. We all say the same thing. We know the Bible is alive, and we know we're all playing different characters. We know the Most High created good and created evil. We understand all of that. We're not under any doubt, right, that this is the Most High's movie. He created good. So it just felt like he was speaking in the spirit. Truly, 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 truly. Revelation 3. So, didn't go there, sorry. So that's kind of everything he said, right? He literally was spot on. Literally, nearly everything he said, he was spot on. But like I said, to me, he's like he was speaking in the spirit. And this is when he talked about good and evil, when he said that there's good out there and there's evil, and then there's a middle ground. And he said he's fighting to see who he can save from the middle ground, right? As we know, every man's responsible for their own salvation, but I understand what he's saying when he's saying he's fighting for the middle ground, because when we're preaching out there, we're only preaching to the elect, all right? So we would see that middle ground as a potential hopeful elect. We would see the so-called hopeful elect making up the good, and some of them are still in that middle ground. Like what Apostle Tahar always likes to say, they're still window shopping. But this is what came to mind when he said that. Revelations 3:15. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot, good, cold, evil, nor hot, good. I would that thou were either cold or hot. Get off the fence, no middle ground. So then, because thou art lukewarm is what? That's the middle ground. Still window shopping. Haven't fully come on board either way. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Because thou sayest, I am rich and increase with goods and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. And that does not mean literally blind and naked. It means blind and naked to this truth. Blind and naked to the truth of the Bible, of the prophecies, of the prophets. That's what truly came to mind. I'm telling you, when he said that. But he was speaking in the spirit. He was truly speaking in the spirit. This is how it came across to me. He was speaking in the spirit. He spoke about the Rothschilds, the bankers. That just kind of made me think of Habakkuk. Habakkuk 2 or 1. He was speaking about the Rothschilds, bankers, the ECB, central banks. These are the people that are printing money. It just made me think of Habakkuk 2 and 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his? How long? This is what the bankers have done. This is what the financial institutions, the banks have done. This is what the Rothschilds have done and all the other banking families have done. They've increased that which is not his. This is what America has done. Woe unto him that increases that which is not his. How long? Unto him that lathers himself with thick clay. How are they lathering themselves with thick clay? The word thick clay there is aptit. Oh, hold on. So know that word goes right into the meaning. When you look at the meaning of that word thick clay, it's talking about heavy debt. Heavy debt. Weight of pleasures. Heavy debt. That's what it means. So as you can see, I think this is how it's pronounced here.
Strong's H 5671 Aftit.
Woe unto him that lathers himself with thick debt, thick clay, heavy debt. And that's what these bankers do by printing their money. This is the guys, this is what the central banks do. And he was speaking about all of them, like I said, boy. So it kind of, how long I said that? Definitely the spirit took hold of him. The spirit took hold of him. The spirit took hold of him. Isaiah chapter 10 comes to mind. He could see the workers of iniquity. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decree and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment. This is what these elites have done, starting from the Edomites going down, to take away the right from the poor of my people. That's what they have done, that widows may be their prey. They prey on the widows, the single mothers. This is why some of these children end up in the sex trafficking. They prey on the single families, especially the single mother families, because they know the woman is the weakest link. That widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. Man, it was just truly coming out of him, boy, in the spirit. That's all I can say. Hold on a minute. It was truly coming out, boy. Truly was coming out to him in the spirit. Psalms 94. See if I can get it. Psalms 94. Because there is a battle. We know there's a spiritual warfare going on between good and evil. We've always known this. And this is kind of what he was saying. Psalms 94 and 3. Yahweh, how long shall the wicked triumph? Right? Because remember, Job 9 and 24. The reason why King David is saying that in the spirit, right? How long shall the wicked triumph, right? Because Job made it clear here. Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who are the wicked? The wicked are the Edomites, Esau's seed, the descendants of Esau. Today that we refer to as the Europeans, who are scattered and mixed amongst the other nations as well, and will look like some of the other nations. These Edomites are mixed amongst the other nations as well, and they will look like some of these other nations. This is why they're able to get together this cabal at the top. These elites from the different nations that are working together. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covers the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Psalms 94. Yahweh, this is the Most High's name. Yahweh. How long shall the wicked triumph? How long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? This is what he was saying in the spirit. You could see it in his face. He had enough. You could see it in his face. He had enough. Everything he said, you could see it in his face.
octopus with arms. It's many, many arms, but you got to go after the head of the octopus in this one.
And we know who the head is, right? The head of this octopus is the Rothschilds. The head of the New World Order, the Illuminati, is the Rothschild. And he calls it out. Look in his face. He is speaking in the spirit.
Who is it? The central banks, the IMF, the ECB, the private West central banks, the BIZ, the Rothschild banks. We have a Rothschild Pope.
You hear that? The Rothschilds bank. We have a Rothschilds Pope, man. Look at this man's face. This don't look like any play acting to me. This looks like Jim Caviezel, if I'm pronouncing his surname right, is speaking in the spirit. He calls them out by name.
And there are great Americans out there that are fighting right now, fighting with all their hearts, but they don't have a voice. So I'll be that voice. I saw what
the only great Americans truly that are out there right now, or so-called Americans, are the elect, are the men and women of the elect. Truly. The men and women of the elect. There are people out there that may believe they're doing certain good things, but they are working with the other side. As I said, I don't know much about this Tim Ballard. I've heard about his exploits, that he's been saving kids. And if he is truly doing that, what he's claiming to be doing, because he used to work for the government, then, kudos to him. Hope the Lord blesses him. That's all I can say, to save those little children from these devils, man.
John the Baptist did. I think about him all the time in this situation. Would you lose your head for Christ?
What does that remind me of? When he said, would you lose your head for Yahushua? That made me think of Revelations chapter 20. We're going to go back to Psalms. It just made me think of the mark of the beast, the microchip. This is what I said to you, as if he was speaking in the spirit. It made me think of Revelation. Is it Revelations chapter 20? What do I want? Yes, I was going to read it out here. Revelation chapter 20, verse 4. And I saw the thrones and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them. And I saw the souls of them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of the Most High, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Yahushua 1,000 years. So this is why, it's all about prayer, and faith, boy, because we have no plans to take the microchip, to worship this beast or his image, or to receive his mark. Our plans is to reign with Yahushua 1,000 years and onwards, and to take these nations, starting with Esau, Edom, these Edomites, into captivity, and to be a part of the ruling elite, the ruling nation in the kingdom of heaven that's coming to earth. But that's what made me think when he said that, boy.
A situation. Would you lose your head for Christ? Would you? I would, because I love him. I love him. And
well, let me tell you, the microchip's coming, boy. So we're going to see where Jim Caviezel stands when that microchip comes, because he said he would lose his head for Yahushua. So we will see. But like I said, to me, he's speaking in the spirit. He's speaking the truth.
I know who's Christ in this movie, Tim Ballard. Tim Ballard. And I know
that's the man he's referring to, the guy that I showed you that's going around saving these children from sex trafficking and sexual exploitation. And like I said, if Tim Ballard is truly doing that, and he's not working with the left-hand side to bring them to bring them from one sex offender to another, then I pray the Lord bless him if that's truly what he is doing. But this is who he's speaking on, about the person and that he believes is doing a righteous thing. And he is in the eyes of the Lord. He is in the eyes of the Lord doing a righteous thing, because that may have just been his lot, Tim Ballard, to save those children from sex trafficking.
Oh, you out there that you're going to say, oh, Tim Ballard, Mormon, forget it. Listen to me. Do you not know the Gospels? Do you know the story about this Let's pretend there was a Catholic who walks by and sees a guy that was beaten up. He does nothing, walks past him. Say there was a Protestant evangelical who walks by. He sees him, does nothing. And then a Mormon walks by, name's Tim Ballard, and he does something. The Bible.
Like I said, we don't believe in these so-called Christian religions. But if what that guy Tim Ballard's doing, what he's saying is doing in the eyes of the Lord, he's doing a righteous thing. But Jim Caviezel has always come across to me as an Israelite. I'm not sure what his background is in terms of. I think he might be. He might be Irish. I'm not sure if he is. All right. If he's Irish or Italian. Okay, so his father is of a Swiss and Slavic descent. So he's a Slav. So he definitely could be an Israelite, and his mother is Irish. So his father's a Slav. So from like Croatia, Romania, or Russia, one of those places. So he could definitely be an Israelite. But like I said, he's talking in the spirit. I've got to give an honest assessment of what I'm seeing here.
The Bible is alive right now. We're all playing different characters.
Man, and the apostles say that all the time, especially Apostle Gabar. He always says that this is the Most High's movie, and we are all playing different characters in this movie. Apostle Gabar always says that, and that's what made that's the person who came to my mind the first when he said that to me. Apostle Gabar's always saying that we are all playing different parts in the Most High's movie. This is the Most High's movie. So yeah, he's absolutely right. The Bible is alive, and we can see it. That's how we know the microchips out there, because the Bible is alive. We can see everything manifestation. We can see it all.
We're all playing different characters. I got to play Jesus. But some of us are playing Judas. Many of us are politicians. You see, there's three parts in this story. You got the good and you got the evil. But most, they're on the fence.
Lukewarm.
That's most.
Absolutely right. Most are lukewarm, boy. Most are lukewarm. Let me tell you. Let me go back to the scriptures. Most are definitely lukewarm. Let's go back to the scriptures. Back to Psalms 94. It says, Lord, Yahweh, how long shall the wicked triumph? This is what he was saying. I can feel it coming out of him. I can see it in his face and his spirit. How long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? They break in pieces thy people, O Yahweh, and afflict thine heritage. They slay the widow and the stranger and murder the fatherless. Yet they say, the Lord Yahweh shall not see, neither shall the power of Jacob regard it. And this is what they believe. This is what they believe, that the Most High don't see. We just jump down to a particular verse. Verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity, I mean, this whole chapter is beautiful. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which framest mischief by law? This is what the Illuminati do. This is what the Rothschilds do. This is what the bankers do. This is what the elites and super elites do. They frame mischief by law. They legalize their wickedness. Why do you think they have the love for the alphabet community? Why do you think the alphabet community can marry each other openly? Because they frame mischief by law. They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. This is exactly what Jim Caviezel was saying, literally. But Yahweh is my defense, and my power is the rock of my refuge, and he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, Yahweh, our power, shall cut them off. Well, praises to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. The Most High is going to cut off these devils, man. He's going to cut them off. He's going to cut off those devils. Truly believe that. But yeah, man, I could feel it and I can see it. I mean, I'm not going to go in. I don't need to bring out any more scriptures. I just really wanted to bring these few scriptures out and just speak a little bit on this. So, as I like to say, I pray
over that middle third.
I pray you are edified by today's edification and by Jim Caviezel's testimony. As always, I want to give all the praises and the glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Rakah, Kodesh. Listen, I could go on all night. I could bring scriptures, but I don't think I need to. I believe you understood the message here. The Bible is alive right now, family, and we are all playing different characters. Lord willing, we are part of the elect. Shalom, 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 and double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, family. All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua.